Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Petty Cash Podcast. I am your host for today. My name is Vincent, aka VCG Cosplay. Today, we will be discussing the movie Lightyear and Season 4 finale of Stranger Things. So, with that being said, we're going from Stranger Things to beyond. And joining me today are my good host and my good friends, Danny, Joseph, and Charles. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. I woke up like 2.5 hours ago, so I'm still slowly waking up. So we all got together last night and we watched the season 4 finale together, so not much has changed within the last 10-12 hours. Yeah, just doing good. Still slightly tired.
Doing all right. Hopefully the McDonald's coffee kicks in, but yeah, I only had 4 hours of sleep as well, so doing what we can to stay up on this, so don't bore me, guys.
Anybody want some soda or something?
What podcast? What? Huh?
Wake up!
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a whole ton of sleep either. I woke up, it was 9-ish or something, because, we were up until, when I got home, it was almost 1, because we chatted for a long day time after. Yeah, and I got up, did a few things, looked at the clock, and I was like, oh, shoot, I better get over here. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what what we all have to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we have quite a bit to talk about today. So, first of all, we've been pushing this discussion back for a while because we had a lot more fun stuff to talk about, like Kenobi, celebration conventions, and what may have you. And today I wanted to bring up the Disney Pixar's Lightyear movie. Now, full disclosure, we are not going to talk about the controversy of it. We are just going to discuss But we are going to discuss what we thought about the movie, what we thought could have been improved on, and our overall thoughts, as well as talk about the big phenomenon that we've been waiting for, Stranger Things Season 4 finale. Good God, we just got done watching that last night, and our hearts were torn. We were literally trying to use paper bags to breathe because that was just intense.
You not us.
Yeah, no.
Not even a paper bag. He actually used a plastic bag.
It did help a little bit, though. I will say, it got me to correct my breathing.
But yeah, the season 4 volume 2, the 2-episode drop yesterday was wow. I gotta say this. We had a lot of shows come out between Memorial Day and now. I think we've had Stranger Things, Kenobi, The Boys. There's probably some others that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but those 3 shows, they all came out roughly around the same time. Oh, Miss Marvel. We've had so many shows over so many different platforms that have come out over the past month and a half or so. I will say this: I have enjoyed watching all of the shows so far, but what differentiates Stranger Things from it all? I've actually bought Stranger Things merch as opposed to Miss Marvel, Kenobi, etc. That probably should say how much I've enjoyed this season, or as opposed to the whole show of Stranger Things, as opposed to the other shows. Hell, I'm still wearing my Hellfire Club shirt.
No wonder why you smell.
Yeah, no, man, I agree. A lot of us have been dumping our money on Stranger Things merch, especially the Hellfire Club shirt. But we'll get on top of that. First of all, let's just throw this away first. Disney Pixar's Lightyear came out Father's Day weekend, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, it came out Father's Day weekend. So my general thought, because I do cosplay as Buzz Lightyear, I've been doing this for 6 years. I absolutely love this character because of what Toy Story brought to it. And then when they decided to do a spin-off Origins film, I'm going to repeat that again, spin-off Origins. It has nothing to do with the freaking original Toy Story movies.
We'll get into that.
Oh, God, here we go.
But overall, I looked at it as just as its own independent film, and for the majority of it, I liked it. I enjoyed what they were trying to do with Buzz Lightyear, and I again, it did feel like a really kick-ass movie, creating a quote-unquote live-action film where it's not some fictional hoo-ha of a movie or whatnot, but it really was just fun experiencing it because I enjoyed seeing what I saw. The visuals were phenomenal. The detail in every single piece of that film, like you have to freeze frame it and look at all the scratches, the nooks, the crannies. Like they really poured a lot of detail into this Pixar film. And for the majority of it, I really do hope that we get a sequel to this and really amp it up to make it more fun and action-packed, because while this was a good film, a lot of people did feel like it felt flat on a lot of the platform areas. But all in all, I really did enjoy it. I love it, and I just cannot wait to get more from it, as well as cosplay this suit of Buzz Lightyear. Like this was just an amazing designed look of a suit, and I can agree with all four of us when we got done watching it. We want this Space Ranger uniform.
Yeah.
We want to become Space Rangers. It was just so cool, so much fun.
Yeah, I would say that I really enjoyed this movie. I could see where it was a radical departure from what people might have been expecting for it being tangentially related to Toy Story, because it's air quotes supposed to be the movie that Andy saw, and that was what inspired him to be like, oh yeah, I want to, yeah, I see you pointing at that, but yeah, it was supposed to be that he was like, oh, I want a Buzz Lightyear toy, blah 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 blah, even though we all know in reality he would have been like, I want the socks toy. But okay, what?
And related to what you were just saying, like the store shelves prove it, because you go to the stores right now, you'll see a bunch of Buzz Lightyear action figures. The one character you do not see on the shelf right now, Socks. He is completely sold out because he was the most beloved character in that movie.
Oh, easily, hands down. I mean, just looking at any like review sites or even just talking with people in general, Socks won the show. But overall though, like I really liked the aesthetic. I'm a sci-fi nut, so I appreciate science fiction and things like that. And also I liked how mechanical it was. I know sometimes with futuristic things they try and make them like super streamlined, you barely see the seams, that sort of stuff like that, in machinery and all the tech and stuff like that. What I liked about this one was that everything felt very mechanical. It felt worn, it felt used, and even for the things that were like kept up, they still felt that level of like grittiness, and actual like something you would expect to see.
It felt like a real world experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see where there were points where it was like the dialogue maybe felt a little flat in some places, but overall I still enjoyed it. I will definitely add it to my collection. And like you said, I definitely loved the suit. It felt the most. It felt like the truest rendition of the suit. I mean, I know we've seen it as like a toy, but now we've actually get to see it what it would look like on a air quotes human being. You know what I'm saying? And it's so freaking cool. And I guess I want to avoid maybe spoilers until we talk about that maybe later in the podcast. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. That's where I'm going to leave it at.
Also, a little fun fact for you guys: Socks was originally supposed to be a monkey. What? I'm not even kidding. The original. So I looked this up, and apparently Socks' original design was supposed to be a monkey that helped Buzz on his space missions, just like how chimps were used in space missions.
Okay. Wow, that would have been a clever take on that.
And it would have been a fun spin-off too, because Andrew Stanton, one of the guys that works at Pixar, he loves monkeys. So the barrel of monkeys, he was always saying at Pixar, we need more monkeys. And they threw that line into the original Toy Story, where they're like, we need more monkeys! There aren't any more! That's the whole barrel!
Monkey! Oh, man. But Yeah, but you can tell with this movie that they definitely took inspiration from things. I mean, you've got your Star Wars inspirations, I mean, even down to that beam saber type. What did they call it?
I think it's called like a saber blade or something.
Yeah, saber
laser machete. Basically.
laser machete. Yeah, it's basically a laser machete. But not only did they make it more practical in the fact that you wouldn't just have just a straight beam coming out of it, but it actually would have some backing behind it.
Yeah.
But it also, I probably want to say that there may have been a slight nod to No More Heroes. Have you ever heard of that one? Where they had the main character in there had a saber, but it was very mechanical. And so it had a rod that ran the whole length of the blade, and then had a reflector at the top. And so the beam shot, was projected up and then into that reflector, and then came back down. And so he had like a lightsaber, but it was more physical, like how you would expect it to be in our current real world physics.
Yeah, like if you look at a lightsaber, we love the lightsabers from Star Wars, but like for a beam to just shoot out and stop to a certain point, like you kind of have but to wonder, but like what would happen if it just kept going? Like this sword just like 30 feet into the air.
Exactly.
And I do like the design of their laser machete in the Lightyear movie, because it does feel more practical. It feels like, okay, here's the length of it. This is where it stops. Doesn't need to be any huger.
This is what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's cool.
They called it a beam katana, but yeah, as you can see, it has the physical build of it and how the beam connects between the 2 points.
Very interesting design how they're using kind of like electrical conduct coils.
Yes,
very cool.
Yeah. So anyway,
Danny, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, I can say I did like Lightyear. I wasn't overjoyed. I definitely didn't hate it, but I think it was just like, yeah, I liked that. For me, I think we'll get into this a little bit, but I want to say this now. I got a lot of like 90s based storytelling and character archetypes based on how the writing was. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was intentional, but the way like some of the dialogue was being written and said, I was like, yeah, this would feel like a 90s movie. I mean, of course it's 2022, but I got that vibe off of it. There was a lot, again, the visuals were stunning, the whole like light speed testing sequences were so cool to look at. The environments were really well done. The designs of the suits for like all the different like styles of them were really cool, especially all the concept ones. Gosh, I want one of those. And of course, Zurg was. I love the design of Zurg in this one. I remember my buddy Noah last night said, like, yeah, it was weird seeing Zurg with feet because he watched the original Toy Story movies. It just like he has a long like purple emperor's gown over his legs.
Sorcerer's gown, yeah.
Yeah, basically. And for those who haven't seen it yet, there's 3 post-credit scenes, so stick around for those who haven't seen it yet, or if you have seen it and didn't know about that, go watch it. I think I would give Lightyear probably like a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I don't know if I would own it. I mean, it's going to be on Disney Plus fairly soon. So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, then, I guess it's up to me then about all this. All right, so let's see. Lightyear. It was entertaining. I liked it. Not going to dwell in the whole controversy or anything. For me, I mean, I don't know where you got 90s, but to reference some, it does call back to Stargate, along with a couple of the rings and everything in orbit. Also with the time travel going around the sun and everything, definitely an homage to Star Trek IV, Voyage Home, and Lost in Space. So seeing Lightyear, the beginning and everything, I mean, this is, an origin of the hero and everything. Yeah, I like how they have like a little, not a disclaimer, the whole thing in the beginning, like this is the movie that he watched. Yeah, but I liked it. It was a typical good guy versus, bad guy. Well, we'll get to that spoiler. Would I, watch this movie again? I mean, the replay value is, if I see it on TV or if there's nothing on, this is definitely something I would just like all right, I don't mind popping it in. No harm, no foul. The characters were all great. I mean, Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, Chris Evans, they've all did a good job, and even Josh Brolin's dad. Yeah, we're not gonna say who, but yeah, it was definitely cool, like hearing him. I mean, because that guy is such a fucking legend. I mean, even in Westworld, for I don't know, like for this to be given like a rating, I would probably give it like maybe 7 Buzz Lightyear starships out of 10.
So 7 Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, exactly. No, it did. Like when I was watching the movie, I could not just help it. Like I'm like, okay, some of the characters from Toy Story are gonna make an appearance or something. But no, this is purely Buzz's movie. I never had a dull moment. Like it was just like, okay, this is neat. This is definitely something to show, kids, nieces, nephews, whoever, just down the road. But yeah, Lightyear was definitely a great movie. I mean, in terms of owning a home media copy of it, it depends, like whatever exclusives are on it, like I guess.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that is great about Lightyear is that something that Disney definitely needs to keep on doing is kind of pushing more original properties. Because, I mean, we're typically banking on remaking some of the old cartoon classics, making them all live action, banking on Star Wars, banking on Marvel. But this is like something like, okay, I don't know. Would you like to see a trilogy of this? It depends on the story. Where can you take it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go with what the tagline, his motto and everything, to infinity and beyond. So, till the story just gets as stale as the Transformer movies, then yeah, definitely stop, making those movies.
So you want like 6 or 7 more Lightyear movies? Is that what you're saying?
Even I'll say to this, no.
No. For me, I was just like, give one more sequel, I guess, maybe, but I'm not like, oh my God, I need to watch this movie. It's so great. It's getting me jizzed up and everything. So, fuck no, not a diehard fan like Vinny here or anything. But I mean, would I be welcome to it? Sure. Just give me an entertaining movie. It was a great popcorn flick, and yeah, it was a good kids movie.
I can agree to all you guys on that one. Like, as diehard as a fan I am, I would definitely say I think maybe 2 out of 3 movies would be good for this spin-off series. But if we're gonna talk about anything with a spin-off series, Disney and Pixar, please keep in mind you have a lot of Buzz Lightyear fans that are gonna sit there and tell you, why aren't you using Buzz Lightyear's Star Command to help pilot this? Because there are so many great characters from the show, from the spin-off movie, that is technically more canon to Toy Story than anything else. And if we do get a sequel to Lightyear, I would love to see the aliens. I would love to see more space rangers that are from different alien planets that come together as the Universe Protection Unit. This is one of the big things that we loved about Buzz Lightyear Star Command, is that we actually got to see different space rangers, different people, different planets. We want exploration. We want to go literally to infinity and beyond with this character. So let's focus on that. Now, do you guys want to discuss spoilers real quick about the movie so we can get it to conference? Okay.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so the big spoiler here is that Zurg, being played by Josh Brolin's dad, is actually old Buzz from the future. This was an interesting story arc because a lot of people did get upset that it wasn't Buzz's father, but we did enjoy the interesting twist to this story arc, and I definitely saw something very personal in that whole story arc of old Buzz being younger Buzz's enemy. It's the fact that you are your own worst enemy if you focus on the wrong things and you take it too far. I found that very, very personal and very weirdly, uncomfortable, of the fact that I was dealing with something like that in recent times, with me pushing myself into doing charity groups and focusing on the wrong people and driving myself to that edge of like, I am becoming my own worst enemy if I keep doing this. And again, like the whole arc with this film was just very interesting, and the way they twisted the time travel paradox. And I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, for me, I did really appreciate the time dilation and time manipulation aspect of this film, because that's always been one of my more favorite theories is, time travel, how it could possibly be done, and also current real world experiments that have proven that time dilation is a thing. It does actually happen. Yes, yeah. The faster you go, the air quotes slower time applies to you.
Yes.
They have actually done real world experiments, multiple ones, and have proven that that is the case. So to see it actually brought into this movie and used as effectively a storytelling point, I really enjoyed that part. I thought that having basically two versions of Buzz kind of exist, where one became like an old man that ended up, into the far future and then came back. I thought that was pretty cool that it was, that was himself. Though that does open up yet another time travel, paradox, if you will, because it's like, wait, now there's two Buzzes? Like, wait, how many more Buzzes do we have, Could it possibly be that we have multiple Zurgs now? Maybe that's, and all sorts of things like that. So it definitely opens it up. And the fact that they left the movie with the fact that Zurg isn't like really defeated leaves it open to that. I guess the only concern is that since this isn't raking in the huge bucks that Disney was wanting, I'm kind of afraid that we may never get that sequel, which sucks. I always hate that where they want to have a sequel and they tease you for a sequel and you don't get the sequel.
Yeah.
Kind of like what going way back to the Super Mario Brothers movie. They teased that there was some shit going down and that there was going to be another movie, which we never got.
Yeah, no, there are so many movies that we can list off that were teased for a sequel that never got it, and that's due to controversy of the box office, license rights, and how it performed. And honestly, I kind of like the whole box office success on that is also because people know that it's going to be on Disney Plus. So they're just like, why even go to the movies and spend $30 to $40 when I could just sit at home for 99 cents and just watch it on the TV, because they're already paying for the streaming service. And I feel like Disney Plus, as great as it is for a streaming platform, it's killing the box office for Disney and Pixar films, because you're not getting that theater experience. The theaters are struggling to even keep it in, so it's like you have that whole controversy of, do I stay or do I go?
Is it a controversy?
I mean, it's a controversy on the fact that like people are saying, well, I'd rather stay at home because I don't have to deal with anybody, blah, 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 but it's just all that shenanigans.
It's more of an argument than a controversy.
Well, argument, sure. But
Well, yeah, because like, for instance, I know I had this very conversation with my boss about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, because he was considering going to see Top Gun Maverick. Ooh. And I said, oh, well, if you're going to go see it in the best theater, which was the Dolby Cinema at the the AMC Mesa, is it AMC Mesa 14, I believe, yeah. And so he was looking at the prices and he was like, oh man, he's like, that's like pretty much $20 a ticket. He's like, so there's me, my wife, my I think he's got his 2 daughters, and then if his father-in-law wants to come along, I mean, we got like what, 5 people there times 20, and then $100. And then that's not even considering the fact that the kids want popcorn, which he said his kids often do want the popcorn, and then he's gonna have to have a drink to go along with it. We all know that ain't cheap, so you're looking at well over $100 here to see one movie. Whereas so whenever people see something like this, like, oh, Lightyear, they're like, well, we can go see it in the theaters and spend, anywhere from maybe $50 to $100, depending upon what theater experience we want. And then, or we can just wait and it will be on the streaming service that we're already paying for.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think, like you said, the whole Disney Plus thing, I think, is shooting them in the foot a little bit. I know that they're making the money on the streaming service, but they're losing it on the box office.
Yeah.
So,
And people base everything on the box office.
yeah, especially in this day and age.
And also to throw in there about the whole Zurg thing, what's interesting that somebody pointed out is that when Buzz went into the future and found this spacecraft, keep in mind, that was all pre-existent. So the real question is, who is the real Zurg? Like, who... That's what I want to know, because that means there's two different Zurgs. There's Old Man Buzz Zurg, and then there's the real evil Zurg. So I'm curious.
Yeah, or potentially there could be even more Zurgs. Like I said, I mean, if there could potentially be more Buzz that somehow went in different paths.
Yeah.
Because if there's this Old Man Buzz, who's to say there isn't more?
Exactly.
So the multiverse of Lightyear.
I will say, like, when we got to the part where Zurg's like, "You don't know who I am," and he was like, I forget his exact line, and when we see, like, it's old Buzz, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I wasn't, I mean, it was, like, a little surprising, but I can't say I was, like, shocked or disappointed. It was, like, it was, like, maybe I was, like, 60% like, oh, okay. Because for me, it's weird. Like, I feel like when it comes to Toy Story 2, like, I am your father, I feel like that could be taken either as literally like, oh yeah, Zurg is Buzz's father, or it's just a literal throwaway joke that they used in that movie, and Zurg isn't actually Buzz's father. Now, I forget, then you can correct me on this, in Buzz Lightyear Star Command, wasn't Buzz's, like, old partner that, like, supposedly got lost in a mission became Zurg, or became one of Zurg's, like, ultimate, like henchmen or something like that?
Yeah, so Buzz's partner's name is Warp Dark Matter, and basically the explosion that supposedly killed him in the beginning of the movie ended up being just a bunch of fireworks, and Warp joined Zurg as his main henchman.
Zurg, okay.
And he actually has a really great design. I actually love that character. But to add to your questioning, what's funny is when Disney actually finally made the official Zurg doll for Toy Story collectors, he actually says, "I am your father, join me." So they took that joke and really made that canon to the toy. So I just thought that was unusual that they kind of were like, nope, throw it away.
So, I mean, going back with old Buzz as Zurg, obviously the line that kept running in my head when I was watching it is that fucking Dark Knight quote with, you gotta die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, okay, my callback to Zurg was, I am your father still, from Toy Story 2. But, like Danny said, I wasn't too like, oh my god, but it is what it is. I'm like, okay, roll with it, let's go.
Yeah.
Could have been something, I mean, it would have been funny if it was his friend.
That would have been a great twist.
Yeah, or the rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Or the rookie. I was kind of like, okay, maybe. Yeah.
Feathering, whatever, the rookie.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was cool. All the Zurg robots and everything. Like I said, with spoilers and everything, with I would say Buzz Lightyear. I don't know what is it with Chris Evans being a man at a time. Captain America and now Buzz Lightyear, and it's like, okay, guess what? We're gonna put him in the Back to the Future remake.
Oh, God, no.
Fucking Hollywood! If you ever decide to remake those movies, officially you're out of ideas. Really.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, carry on. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Well, to wrap up this discussion with Lightyear, to move on to Stranger Things. Now, I know everybody's discussing this like crazy. So, in the beginning of the movie of Lightyear, they made this caption title, which I thought was the most thrown off thing they could have done, is say, "This is the movie Andy saw as a kid that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy." I call BS, because every Toy Story fan who's watched everything from Toy Story 2, to, again, Buzz Lightyear Star Command, everybody knows that Buzz Lightyear Star Command is the in-canon movie and cartoon that pretty much shows what Buzz Lightyear is supposed to be. Now, with Lightyear, I call this the spin-off Origins, because that is what they said it was way back in October. That this was not supposed to be tied into Toy Story. It was not supposed to be in canon. It's a spin-off storytelling of Buzz Lightyear from being a space ranger to becoming the hero of Buzz Lightyear that we know of, that Tim Allen embodied. And that's two completely different versions of Buzz, two completely different character takes on Buzz. So that's why it drives me nuts when people make this into a huge argument. I'm just like, guys, if you get rid of that title caption and just declare this an origin story, I promise you it's easier to understand. Doesn't need to be a giant argument. Just enjoy it for being an origin story.
Now, Vinny, while I hear your point, I do disagree. Because I've had time to think about it. I disagree because, like, when that title card came up, to me, I'm like, okay, I accept that. And, like, I that's what I kind of, like, brought up that thing earlier I said about, like, this movie did feel like a 90s movie in 2022. The dialogue and the pacing, it felt very like sci-fi action film from the 90s. Now, granted, you could look at it this way. You have Lightyear, then you have Toy Story showing Andy getting the Lightyear toy. Then after, I think, Toy Story 2, you see, the people who made Lightyear made a TV show about Buzz continuing his adventures after Lightyear. For me, that everything still works in canon. To me, everything still makes sense. If you use Lightyear, then Toy Story, and then Buzz Lightyear Star Command. For me, it still makes sense that this was the movie Andy would have seen as a kid in the theaters growing up in the 90s, wanting that toy.
Now, to counter-argument your conversation here, if you go back and watch Toy Story, Buzz is literally reciting word for word about what he is and what he does in the universe. In this movie, Zurg is not the evil emperor. Buzz is not the protector of Gamma Quadrant Sector 4 yet. That happens literally at the split end, like the last minute, where they got the brand new suits. They look like the toy. And again, my counter argument is this: the toys we're seeing on the shelf right now look like the suit that they used throughout the majority of the film. If you're gonna get a toy based on a movie like that, it's gonna look like the toy from the film. And Buzz from the Toy Story universe is his own thing. He's not what this Chris Evans Buzz Lightyear is.
I see. I don't know about that toy argument because, like, especially with toys today, you'll get so many different variants. Like, perfect example, Spider-Man No Way Home. You had, in that movie, Peter had 3 different suits. Mm-hmm. But throughout the whole marketing, you saw all 3 suits. So you never knew which suit he was going to end up with by the end of the film. Now, we saw the black and gold suit, we saw the integrated suit, and we saw the suit that he crafted at the end of Far From Home. Now, granted, that is the suit that he wears for the majority of the time, but a lot of the posters, a lot of the toys you will see will utilize either the Iron Spider suit, which we saw a lot of in the trailers and in the posters, but by the end of the movie, you will see he crafts a classic suit inspired by the other spider suits that he encountered. So when it comes to, like, that argument, like, the suits that the toys that are based on the suits that are used in the majority of the film, well, we know that toys will be designed by whatever appears on screen. So the final shot of those, what we see as, like, the regular Lightyear suits with, like, the metallic greens, purples, and whites, toys will be made from anything from movies. So if we get, like, the end movie Buzz outfit with the rest of the Lightyear gang, people will say, like, we see that, like, oh, sweet, that's what they'll look like. Oh, that's what they look like at the end of the movie. Oh, okay. I see the toy argument, but toys can be made off any appearance from any point in the film.
Right. But that still adds to my point, though. All the Spider-Man suits you see were still made as toys. The suit we see at the end of the movie was not made. So why would they make a toy based on something that was seen at the very end of a film? And we still haven't seen that.
Knowing Disney, they'll want to make as much money off this movie as possible. So, like, again with Spider-Man, we still have yet to see Andrew and Tobey figures come out for that movie. Who's to say they're still not holding back, like, a clean-looking end movie Lightyear armor based off what we saw in the film? I'm not saying, like, because it's not out now, they won't ever, but because how, like, marketing with toys and movies goes, they'll, like, squeeze as much money and hold back as much product as possible to keep the interest going for the product, or for the project, I should say.
Right. Well, again, it's for the sake of argument, it is what it is. We can't really declare this as canon, uncanon, but we have our different variations. We have our different opinions, and again, Lightyear was a good movie, and we just hope for a better future with it. So, moving on. All right, for this topic, we are going to discuss Stranger Things Season 4 finale. So, guys...
Season 4 as a whole.
Well, Season 4 as a whole, yeah, sure. Stranger Things Season 4, that was a phenomenal series. I think Season 4 was a really great way to end this show. I mean, we are getting a Season 5. But this was just like a really great climax. Like, we see the kids grown up, they're, doing their own thing, and we finally see Vecna, who is just probably a well-designed, very intense villain in this show. And I really don't know what to say right now about it. So I'm going to let one of you guys take the wheel on this and just give me your opinions.
I will say, like, from the first episode of this season, it's since the last season, Season 3, was summer of 2019. It's been 3 years since we've had Stranger Things in, like, the pop culture eye storm. So, like, they had to come back strong with this season. Like, hey, we're still here, we're still good. You get that immediately with that first episode. I think this is a fairly common, like, observation of this particular season, but this season really is like Stranger Things' version of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Vecna is very much a Freddy Krueger type villain, even though I would say he might be a little bit more threatening with, like, since he has, like, the mind, like powers to, like, contort people to death. And of course the actors, they absolutely killed it this season. Sadie Sink and Millie Bobby Brown in particular really brought their A game when it came to portraying the emotions their characters were going through throughout this whole season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite character. I mean, we all was like, hey, please don't let Steve die in the finale and stuff like that. But let's be fair, like, Joe Keery is such a great actor and brings amazing life to the character of Steve Harrington.
Yeah.
But with this entire season was phenomenal. And with the last 2 episodes dropping yesterday, good Lord, that was 4 hours of glorious content.
Yeah.
Do I have a favorite episode this season? Oh, absolutely. It is, for me, episode 4, when Max first faces Vecna and thankfully gets away that time. Oh, that was, and with Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill and the orchestral version of Running Up That Hill playing over her running away from Vecna. Duffer Brothers, release a CD of this season so we can get that version of Running Up That Hill with all the instruments playing behind that song. Good Lord, that was so good.
Not to mention the orchestrated version of Separate Ways. Like, that really was a phenomenal version of that song. I love that song to death.
Now with Stranger Things Season 4, there is really a lot to talk about this one. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. Did it need it to be separated?
Nope.
No. I would agree with so many of those, including the guy where they kind of base the show off around his works and everything, all his, like, highlights and everything of his career. Stephen King even said this did not need to be separated into Volume 1 and Volume 2. Yeah. Yes, definitely Episode 4. What was it? Dear Billy. Yeah, that one was definitely a good one. I mean, Sadie Sink, I have a feeling she's going to have a great career pretty much post Stranger Things. And I mean, heck, she did a great job with Fear Street. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely watch it. I believe it's Fear Street 1978. It's on Netflix. Definitely, I mean, she steals the show off this one. Almost all the actors and everything. We've grown up with them. We're introduced to some new ones. What is it? Joseph Quinn as Eddie. Mm-hmm. Definitely one of the highlights of the show. One of the best new characters of the show.
Love it.
I would say best episode for me. I mean, yes, episode 4 was like, holy crap, like edge of your seat moment. Like, I was literally watching that at Celebration, just on my bed, just like, oh my God, I'm watching this fucking show and all that. I can't stop it. It was like, 11:30 at night. I'm like, okay, I have to finish this and all that. So
Yeah, I'm trying to sleep, and I'm like, I hear the Stranger Things playing. I was just like, oh my god.
all right. Since you brought that up, man, I had to cover one ear because you were snoring. So no, but that's how like invested I was. I was like, oh my god, get the fuck out of there, girl! Come on.
It's like you're sleeping all of a sudden you hear.
No, he was listening to Running Up That Hill. So I'm like, what kind of YouTube videos is he watching and all that? And so it's Kate Bush, man. Okay, so I'm listening to that, but best episode I probably rewatch is probably the first episode, just because the whole D&D and everything. I love the little moments. We're introduced to Eddie. Yes, the gif of where he kind of spreads his hands, basically congratulating the rest of the Hellfire Club. Kind of sad that those other members kind of disappeared throughout the season. You would think like, hey, let's help them out and all that, even though we don't know what the hell's going on. I love the little exchanges between Erica and Eddie. Like he was just like, oh, this is Sinclair's like sister and everything. And I mean, yeah, you're kind of seeing everybody back from season 3, and that's definitely something I could rewatch. But I mean, going in with these last 2 episodes, yes, they were definitely long. There were moments like all the moments that the characters had, like I wish I did this, or I had this dream, and it kind of played on your emotions, like like, oh, this guy, Danny over here. I see this guy, hands on his back, like, oh my god, like pacing back and forth in the kitchen. Watching this.
He's in the kitchen in the dark. Oh my god.
Like, honestly, like the reactions around the room. Like, Charles was probably one of my favorites too. He was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but the food is great. I love it. Your friend Noah and everything, he's reacting. Like, honestly, like my show was like, my attention was like going from the show
To us.
to you guys, and I'm going back and forth. This is more entertaining, actually. So
Noah was freaking hilarious.
Definitely Noah was great. Huge shout out to him. I mean, every step, like, I mean, this is how some shows need to be watched. Now, not interrupting at parts where you have to listen. Like, no, there are like moments where you kind of have that Mystery Science Theater moments where you have to interject like a joke and anything, because it's like, really? But no, characters were great and everything. There's a moment to callbacks to like the Lost Boys, definitely with Maya Hawke's character. She dresses up like one of the Frog Brothers, especially when they basically raid the where they go to the military surplus store. Oh, wait, when does that place close again?
War
Like,
Games, was it?
what?
The military surplus store?
Yeah.
I think it was called War Games.
War game, yeah.
What's up? Yeah, what's up?
I like the little.
Like, you look. What did I just?
I heard like I felt you turned to me and like, what time did that place close? Like, wait, what place? What did I miss?
Oh no. So sorry. There was this military surplus store. Anyway, no, that's not important. But going back with Stranger Things, I really love the characters. I mean, we had to talk about this, like, whose adventures were the best and all that, like, and you start, I mean, there was like, what, 4 storylines, a ton of subplots. Mm-hmm. Some went somewhere, some went nowhere, and it's just like, okay, let's just roll with it. We all know that there's one more season after this, and I'm kind of glad that, the Duffer Brothers are really like gonna cap this off. Like, there's, I mean, the show was definitely appealing, and you can definitely see when they were kids and everything that like it's going to lose that touch, and hopefully there's no spin-off or the next generation in the 90s or something like that, because there was actually this behind the scenes picture that I saw just a couple hours ago, and it had like Joseph Quinn, who plays Eddie. He looks at his cell phone, and I'm like, God, can you imagine how short these shows would be if they had cell phones? But yeah, going back, oh man, we really need to talk about the deaths.
Oh jeez.
Spoilers for season 4 of Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, damn it. It's like I wanted them to break the chain of the new characters being introduced, and then we love them so much they get killed off. Jason, fuck you. You deserve to die.
Yes.
So I wish we would have added all your jock buddies down there too. Sorry, not sorry.
We love to hate you.
But dude, Eddie, everyone, like the Bandai action figures, the Target exclusive Funko Pops, him playing the guitar, blasting, master puppets from Metallica.
The posters of him looking like a freaking rock star hero in the Upside Down.
Like, damn it. Like, there was kind of like that hope of me. I'm like, please just carry on to the next one. But yeah, we all know there was going to be some legalities. Like, okay, coming back to the real world, this dude's going to be arrested for the deaths of all those people way before, like, the earthquakes happened. It sucks that he pretty much got labeled as the town weirdo and the dude basically getting charged for those deaths and everything.
Yeah, being blamed for what happened. I was just like, really, people? Come on.
Like, dude, I wanted to see this dude, like, graduate. Like,
86, man, my year.
yeah, definitely his year, all right. Year to die. I'm kidding. No. But, yes, of all the deaths, I mean, Brenner, I was like, well, finally, he's dead.
Yeah.
Confirmed dead.
Oh, Dr. Owens, we have no idea what happened to you, but Burke from Aliens, please return in the next season. But I have a feeling he might go. Unless the general, like, kills him off screen. Yes, Max. Finally dying. like holy crap. Like, when her bones, like, snap, arm. And I'm like, okay, she's definitely, like, would you guys really want to bring her back? And, like, oh my god, all this pain. This sucks. Just let me die and all. Reading off
the fact that she's blind too, apparently.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like the blood leaking from her eyes, like, I can't see shit. And so, like, don't let me go and all that whole kind of cliche. I gotta have my last word. There's a lot of, like, cliches of, like, I gotta have my last words before I die. Oh, and so, dude, Caleb McLaughlin, fuck, I felt his performance more in that scene because it was like, dude, like, he was getting his girl back. She can't go to the movie. She can't see the movie. He's gonna have to watch, like, one of those closed caption movies now, or those audio descriptions. But yeah, like, you just felt his pain, and he's crying. Like, 11 was there, kind of like in the astral plane, just being there. She couldn't even comfort him. She has to, like, watch her two friends, like, one is dead, the other is just, like,
Suffering.
Screaming, and, even him calling to Erica, like, get help, because, I mean, those situations, shit, what do you do, man? Like, you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And so, now, Caleb McLaughlin, definitely you deserve, like, high props for this one, because you're always, for me, I mean, you're a great supporting character, but this is, like, a moment, like, where you shine, like,
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest cop-out, I was just like, damn, they're really going to off this girl. Kudo. They just Rise of Skywalker this. When as soon as, like, 11 went, no, and all that. And so, like, you're not going. And I was like, oh, here it comes. Kylo bringing life back to Rey. Again, like, I remember seeing Vinny's reaction. The biggest teddy bear in the room and all that. He was like,
Yeah, I get emotional, man. Give me a break.
like, he was like, don't fucking die, redhead. Yeah, then like,
Well,
what?
I was upset she died, but I was more like gut gushing when Dustin had to talk to.
Oh yeah, when
That
Dusty,
got me the most.
that definitely got you. Seeing, dude, because it was just like, as soon when he started joking around, like, I had a feeling there either he's gonna joke and we're like, all right, we're gonna cut it if we like him to live, like, cool, and they're like, no, I think we should pull the plug on this guy, and then they, like, can let it follow with, take care of the Menderson, and then, like, oh crap, and I see Danny folding, like, his arms behind his back like Chewbacca, like, oh, don't die, and so yeah, I mean,
But it was honestly the performances that really did it. Like, the performance of Eddie dying and Dustin holding him, and then Dustin having to confront his uncle. That performance, that's the reason why I got choked up.
Oh, you cried with the uncle. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you
just like,
feel it.
dude, like, he knows that, like, he can now rest in, like, okay, this, basically, my nephew died protecting this little kid. That's all he needed to know. Like, okay.
He died knowing he had friends that protected him, too.
Exactly. And so, yeah, man, I mean, all around, you want to be paired up with those type of friends in your life, man. Like, those that, like, even when you're gone, that are going to defend you no matter fucking what. So, unless you killed somebody, then, go psycho, then yeah, definitely, I don't know. But, no, the one I also got Vinny too. Again, I'm loving the reactions. Was when 11 kept her door 3 inches, and then Hopper walked in. Now I'm seeing Vinny.
I wasn't crying. I was just like I was more like,
like, oh damn
gosh.
it. But yeah, no. Season 4 was definitely great. I mean, we love to discuss the series as a whole, probably when season 5 is out, one and done. But definitely like to talk about top 10 moments, especially. I mean, oh yeah, definitely worth going back to. Stranger Things is definitely gonna be one of those shows we're definitely going to miss. And it's funny when I saw an article like the Netflix executives cried when the Duffers brothers submitted like basically the synopsis or the script for season 5, and they all just cried. And they were like, as much as they said it was like, oh, it's a great story, I'm gonna call bullshit. They were like, oh crap, there goes our money maker gone. Really, guys? No Next Generation? No Stranger Things in the 90s with different characters?
Extreme Stranger Things.
Extreme Stranger Things.
Extremely strange things.
Stranger's Things. Extreme!
The toy commercials and everything. I can see that.
Oh my gosh.
Now you can own an 11 action figure with get into the powers.
They have a pandemic organ now.
Yeah. Oh no, the pandemic organ! Take that!
I can tell they're just like, come on, Duffer Brothers, give us something to work on. Which I'm going to call back to, hey, remember when TV tried to give us that 80s show and it blew ass from that 70s show?
Oh, yeah.
Please, just keep it where this is. You're not going to get rid of, the original characters and everything. And, let it follow their offspring, or if they ever have any. Nah. So, but, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
So for me, and as Joe alluded to, I actually wasn't really caught up at all with Stranger Things. I watched the first season and then watched part of the second one and then kind of stopped. And that was just personal reasons mainly, not so much that I hated the show, just more or less just what?
He took a screenshot of me crying.
Oh man. So anyway, it was just personal reasons and whatnot. With somebody who shall not be named. But anyway, but yeah. So they said, oh Charles, let's watch the season finale of it. And I was like, all right, sure, why not? And so I kind of knew like the characters, but I didn't know what all had happened to them. And I knew about the memes with Eddie and all that, and that bow that he does, and I was like, and even just in the short period of time that like I got to know some of the current circumstances and some of the newer characters and stuff like that, I got to feeling like for them, seeing the budding relationships and then the heartache they were going through as they were trying to get through this. And it was really well done. I think about the only thing that I kind of, aside from the the Kylo Ren moment, was the fact that the power of love somehow magically makes it to where now she can break free. And it's like it looked like the vines more or less gave up rather than her like forcing them away from her. That was like I would have. I think if they'd have sold it more like that, she just kind of became enraged, empowered sort of thing, and you saw the vines struggling to like try and hold her,
Yeah.
and like they started like splitting.
It's like they bowed to her will.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. It's like you know, they bowed to her will instead of like, oh, you know, they're still trying to serve their, I guess, air quotes, original master, you know, and so I think that was a little bit of a downfall. I was like, oh, really?
It
Come
was like
on.
a Neo from the Matrix moment right there.
Yes, yeah. So you know, I would have preferred it more like, you know, yeah, like, oh no, she's like, oh hell no, and she basically forces these things away from her and then slams Vecna up against, you know, the pillar. But whatever, you know, still overall, I cared for, you know, for the characters. I felt bad, you know, when Eddie's was it his uncle came in and, you know, had to find out that his nephew you know, died while trying to save the town. And also it sucks that, you know, so many of the people viewed him as basically like a form of Satanist, like, cult leader.
Yeah.
You know, that was painful, because not only is it painful whenever you like see somebody being misrepresented like that, you know, because they, you know, number one, they're not, but also they're a hero. But then two, it was also just calling back to the old scare days of D&D, and even in current day, there still can be some like scare mongering of D&D being, you know, a cult thing or a Satanist thing, which it is absolutely not.
No,
It is. It can be for those idiots that choose to do so. But then again, to be honest, anything can be converted into a cult and unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could go down the list. You know, D&D can be converted to that if you do so. Church can be converted to that if you do so. You know, toys, movies, whatever, anything like that can be done. So, you know, but it was calling back to like the old, because it was like 86. So of course there was that scare tactics and all the stuff like that they had in the days. But anyway, overall though, I really enjoyed it. And it was a great, 4 hours and some odd.
Give or take 10
yeah, give or take 10 minutes. And so, yeah, and, you know, they said they're doing a season 5, so I'm just like, you know, well, you know, if you guys are doing more watch parties of it, sure, I'll watch it. I don't know if I'm going to get, was it Netflix to watch it? Maybe I will, because there is some stuff coming on Netflix again that I do kind of want to see, but I don't know. I don't get
Just
it.
watch the show, man. Just watch it. Just put it on. and just put
That
it on.
involves buying more streaming services, and I'm like, I don't want to go blowing all sorts of cash.
You have us for one, and two. Season 1 is only like $6 on the internet. So you
Well,
could
I already
buy-
saw season 1.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you didn't see season 1, you can.
I
buy
did.
it. Okay.
I did. Yeah, because I had Netflix during that time. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. But anyway, but that's my take on it. I enjoyed it, and the fact that somebody like me, who's, you know, really unfamiliar with it, can just hop in at the end and still enjoy it and still feel for the characters, even though I don't have nearly as, you know, deep of a connection with it as those that have seen it in its entirety. That says something to the writing.
Yeah.
So all in all, great job.
Yeah, no, the Duffer Brothers definitely did a great job with this show. I mean, when season 4 came out, I went back and watched season 1 through 3, and just seeing those kids so young and growing up, it's just incredible watching their performances evolve. And yeah, no, we really enjoy the hell out of these movies and these shows. As long as there's great writing and great characters involved, I think, you know, it's just what draws us all in as fans. Okay, everybody, this is the Petty Cash Podcast. Thank you for joining us on this fun episode. And remember, slow down, chew your food.